Should light a candle.
Are you using Streamlabs, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, because I've been having some fights with Streamlabs. I am not streaming right now because I do see a live though, so that's fantastic. Give it a couple of more seconds just in case.
I see us in the live screen. That's good. Hello, chat. I hope you can see us.
We're good.
All right.
I get to watch an ad break.
Yay! Oh, what are they selling us? So
Great chat
while you were watching the ad break, yeah, so you have had a few rotations where the expo has been here in topsoil. This is the first year that a few scientists said that they were working on large capacity domes for people to travel down to Sea Spire so that they can try hosting for once. And this being the 500th time the people of this world have gathered for this, like there's that extra nervous excitement as you're going to put on your first show to way too many people. And
So yeah, she's just excited to go ahead and start moving things to where they need to go and meet him at that train station.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you've got, I would say, like 4 hours to prep and stuff. In the city proper, the event is being set up there, and you're more than welcome to try and find a stall. There's a big first come first serves for like the main day stuff, and then there's a few reserved events at night. And then whenever you're ready to welcome tourists into the town and try and sell them product, then you can meet your mentor back at the shore.
Yeah, so I think she would be hustling for that city center to get a good spot, since she knew that, well, we are going to have to hustle to get a good spot. So there's, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me, as she's sort of like excusing her way through the crowds of people. Not being rude about it, but definitely not sort of waiting for people to move. There's definitely a pardon me as she is shoving past.
As you're shoving past, there's like a bit of like that Black Friday power walk shuffle going on as other creators and explorers are trying to get up the hill to the city and to like lay claim on a spot. Make me a dexterity saving throw to just weave your way through. You are taller than most of the topsoil denizens, which does help, as the major population of this country is halfling and gnome, some of the people from Sea Spire proper.
Yeah, so Murin is about probably 2 feet taller than the average citizen of topsoil. She's about, I think, 5 feet tall. And she has a dexterity check of, I think that's an 8.
All right. It's a bit awkward, and you have to stop occasionally to apologize as you may have knocked over someone or the books fall out of someone's hand. But you do get up to the Balduran City proper, and manage to find a decent little stall just outside of a relatively popular tavern called the Low Tide, that tourists usually end up visiting because it's one of the first places of rest that you see when you get off of the boats and trains. You have already talked to some of the scholars of topsoil themselves about the prototype, so the new goal is to show the rest of the world that this is totally worth investing in so that mass production and distribution can become a thing. As you're setting up your stall, we look into the window of this tavern, And inside, it's quiet and dusty and cold. But all of this is normal and cozy to the people of Topsoil, as everyone knows that the rest of the day is going to be filled with anxiety. So it is okay to take it slow today, or this morning at least. Besides a pair of gnomes who are playing some sort of board game in the corner, and a trio of workers unloading a bunch of kegs and bringing in big old bags of ground up flour in preparation to make bulk meals throughout the 3 days. There is one person who is catching their breath. Jeremy, what does this person look like in the corner?
Well, under a dirty gray mantle lies long blonde hair, usually tied back, and a chiseled yet weather-worn face of fair complexion. Set within their sockets are heavy, deep blue eyes that watch intently, with keen glances surveying more than they may let on. Fire or a recent accident seems to have left a mark from just under his left eye running towards his stubbled chin, leaving an intriguing memory of some unfortunate event or possibly a fortunate survival. He stands about 6 feet tall, though he is sitting down currently. Broad shoulders, an athletic frame. This human, for human he is donned in dark leather and overlapping metal pieces, much like the scales of a fish, or more accurately, something draconic. An insignia is etched upon the left breast that shows a golden globe split in half by a band and encompassed by some wicked creature. I would say probably not girded on him, but next to him, leaning up, is his sword belt with a long sword, double-edged cruciform hilt with a worn-out grip, perhaps. It was once dark red. Only Elric would know. And then, of course, next to it is a long bow of yew and a quiver with an adventuring pack.
One of the people working sets down a crate, leans up against the wall, and kind of stretches it out. As they eye up your equipment, they comment, "Be expecting a fight during a science fair?"
Oh, no. Just came in off the road, so to speak.
What road? There's only 3 of them on the island.
The road into town, my friend.
No, from around here.
Saying this, I'm not from around here, no.
Where are you from?
I guess he would look at his insignia. I'm from Ansia.
Is your insignia of Ancian heritage?
It is. It's the crest that would be on the Ancian flag.
Oh, really? That's interesting. I've heard there's a bit of terrorist stuff going on over there right now.
I haven't been in quite a while. I suppose I wouldn't know. Terrorist stuff.
I heard there is a bit of a mutiny or something. There's bounties on the board over there. I can show you if you're curious.
He does kind of shift up, stumbling a bit, but yeah, he'll get up and walk over towards the board.
This half elf gestures over, and written in various languages and presented by various countries and territories are different notifications for cross-travel threats that need extradition. And as you look amongst them, there are a pair of very familiar faces. I didn't set this song on loop. Yeah, pair of familiar faces, one of which you recognize as a former teammate of yours, someone you had worked with in the past before your current situation. And the bounty says, Kellum Brightstar wanted for mutiny and treason. Bounty is 30,000 gold. And then there is another face. Not unlike your own, although some facial features are different as there are no new fresh scarring on this person's face. And it says Elric Freyason wanted for treason and conspiracy. Bounty 28,000 gold. Both of these posters say wanted dead or alive.
Looking at the poster of himself, I think he motions to a scar, something that still pains him. For it is a recent wound, but he'll motion and say, "Would I be able to take these? Perhaps I could find some work."
Well, if you're looking for bounty hunting, you can keep it in mind. I only have the one copy, though.
All right.
You know,
Thank
this one
you.
kind of looks like you.
Does he?
Yeah.
Well, I've heard on the road that we Ancians all look alike, so perhaps that is
deception check.
Boy, howdy.
Boy, do I howdy.
That is a 5.
It is a 5. Okay. What did I roll, Dice Machine?
These dice are hot tonight.
Oh man.
Oh, really? Yeah, I suppose I've heard of that too. Yeah. Well, I've got to get back to it. I've got a lot of things to unload. So if you need anything, let me know.
Appreciate it. Perhaps just a drink and a small hot meal when you have the time.
I'll get right to it.
And he'll go sit back down and kind of pull his hood even further over his face.
Mm-hmm. Just looking at your passives here. So it's not very subtle as this person rounds the corner and tries to quietly discuss something exciting that they have just experienced. But with your trained ear, you can catch that they are very much talking about you and about the bounty and about the benefit of turning you in. It seems like your welcome in this particular tavern might be a little short.
Are they in plain sight?
They are behind the bar counter, just like around the corner in this doorway where like a kitchen could possibly be. You can see one of the three of their backs. Mm-hmm. As the half elf excitedly tells them what they have discovered.
As Elric goes to sit back down, I think he's just going to grab his stuff and try to move out the door as subtly as he can.
Okay. So you head out onto the streets, hoping that no one gets any additional attention drawn to you. And you can see that there's a few people setting up shop, getting ready for this festival. It was a good idea to come to the Suture Festival. It'll be very crowded. No one is going to be looking for one particular person that hard. Possibly just a bad start. Some of the tables in front of you that you see getting set up, you see a pair of gnomes standing up a mannequin to put some sort of suit around. There are 2 goblins and a firbolg unboxing a bunch of strange like gears and levers with like a strange non-Euclidean shape to them. There is a Triton putting colorful liquids onto a table and laying out some blueprints. Might be a good idea to try and blend into the crowd as you make your way out of this tavern.
Oh, very much so. So if it, as a crowd does build up, perhaps maybe around some of the stalls, Elric will do his best to blend in, to peruse and act as though he's interested, to seem as though he's able to break the trail moving through a crowd.
Okay. So what does Woodin's stand look like? What's your science fair exhibit setup?
So, no science fair is complete without a trifold board, as one can expect, except this one is fancy and has hinges and fun other things on it. So you've got the trifold that details some of the work that went into discovering the main components, essentially, of the solvent and why they are critical discoveries, especially in this application of them, and how they sort of work, like the active ingredients, sort of. So that's what the trifold is mostly about, is about these new ingredients and how they're being used in this new fascinating way, as well as the new alchemical techniques that were applied to create the solvent. That is then, there is another display essentially showing off the solvent, its various permutations of itself that are focusing on, slightly different uses that are similar but not the same. And currently she is trying to pin up a banner that is essentially like their slogan for their solvent, showing off its name, etc. I haven't decided what it is, so please don't ask. I don't know. But that's what she's trying to do. So she's looking at this stall, which is bigger than she thought it would be because she can't reach it. And she is currently sort of like trying to figure out how she's going to do that. Because she didn't bring a stool and she didn't bring a few other things that she might have needed because her hands were full. So she's looking around a little befuddledly. She has this banner in her hand and she alights on the tall person standing in the street and sort of signals and goes, hello, sir, do you have a moment?
Yes, yeah, of course I do.
Oh, wonderful. I was just wondering if you'd be just a wee kind man and help me put this up here. And she hands him an end. Yeah, just up there, please.
Yeah.
It should have a little tack.
Like this?
Yes.
Higher, lower? Okay. Is it level?
Let's get
level.
the other one.
Okay.
And then she steps back and she looks at it to see if it's even. Do you want us to roll anything for how we hang this the first try?
Sure. Go ahead and make a performance check with advantage because you have someone helping you. At the same time, though, Elric, can you make a stealth check, blending in as the employees of the Low Tide Inn kind of pop out the front door? And where did they go?
All right, for her performance, that's a 17.
Nice.
Due to his armor, it's disadvantage, but it's a 14.
Okay. See, all those nerves for nothing. You step back. It's nice and straight. It's hitting the light just right. There's totally a slogan that's up there. And as like you are both like stepping back, looking at the success of your work, out of the corner of your eye, Elric, you see that at least for now, the employees of the tavern are all right, might not be worth it, and went back inside the building.
Oh, thank you. You're a peach. Actually, would you like to hear? I really need to practice, and it's just there's no one really here yet. Would you mind?
Yeah, sure, that's fine. Yeah.
Hello, it's nice to meet you. I'm Mary O'Brien, and
Uh,
I'm here to show you our fabulous solvent here. So we've created this with a number of new, never before seen ingredients from deep below in Ceasefire. And she starts going into this semi-alchemical explanation, but you do, it's easier to like a pure intellectual diatribe. Like this has been clearly worked on to try and present it to the layperson, mentioning as much, new, exciting, fun science things that she talks about. And what you gather is that this solvent is a particular way of treating different metals underneath the water so that they do not rust or experience decay. So much. Do you have any questions?
I couldn't think of any at the moment, no.
Would you consider buying any? And she does show off a number of them, and it's real useful if you're ever thinking of going, well, adventuring and that sort of thing. Keeps up your equipment nice and shiny, helps reduce the need to clean your weapons between uses, increases the longevity of your armor and your sword.
I will buy some. Yes, I'll take some here. How much is it?
Yeah, how much should I be selling this for?
Hey, it's your product.
I don't know what prices are in this game. I'm gonna look up something.
Something comparable.
Cost.
Well, while you just decide on a price exchange,
Yeah.
we'll pan away from this street for a bit and head on over to a bit of a darker side of town. There is a prison on topsoil, not frequently used, but it has a few residents. One of which is getting a long-awaited release today. As two guards bring this person to the exit of the prison, to the last set of iron bars, one of them laughs and, I have no idea how long you've been in prison, but I don't know how you got over to here, but we need to clear up some space soon, so you're free to go. They turn the key and open the gate, and light shines on you for the first time. What does August look like?
August, from a distance or on the surface, looks like an old, frail man. His skin's covered with small scars. Only wisps of hair still remain. It looks like he would have a beard if it weren't just patches of what remained of a beard. Slightly hunched, walking with a stick. A closer appearance, you get the idea that maybe his advanced age is more of a result of his hard life than his actual age. His muscles are still taut. He's got what appears to be a wiry strength to him, but in his condition right now, probably the most defining feature he has is a bandana wrapped around his eyes that are no longer there. He spent a long time in this prison, and there's not much left of the August that went in still there. He steps out, blind to the sunlight that he hasn't seen in years anyway. And the first thing he says to the guard is, free to go. Where do I go?
The local guard turns to the other one, who's wearing a military uniform of a different country. August, you would recognize it as coming from, I believe, I'm just looking at our little pretend. You were last at a prison in a country known as Larenthia.
Mm-hmm.
And the person kind of rolls their eyes and goes, I don't know, I was given orders and I really don't feel like watching them anymore, honestly.
With that, August just kind of nods and takes his first step out from the door, leaning on a stick, using it to guide him. He takes his first deep breath outside of the prison. It inhales, holds it. Well, people still stink. And kind of shuffles towards what he can detect of a crowd, just trying to kind of get his bearings in this new place without using the senses he has available to him.
Guard shouts out after you. I don't know what got you locked up for so long in the first place, but try not to get in trouble.
I forget myself. He's going to shuffle off. He really doesn't have a direction to go, so he is going to try to move towards the noise of people. You know, his idea that's something to walk towards.
Fair enough. As August is heading down this lonely street from the prison back towards the signs of civilization, there's a small stream that cuts through topsoil a little bit, and there's a tiny, like 3-step bridge that you cross over. But as you step onto this bridge and look off to your right to see the vast super ocean that makes up the majority of this planet, there's an enormous splash that hits the water right in front of you. And like water shoots up into the air and you get hit with cold, icy liquid. Let's figure out where that came from. Rewind about 5 minutes and look up as one of the many airships flying into the city of Topsoil comes sliding in. What's the name of your ship? I forgot.
Oh.
I
The
feel like
name,
it definitely had a name.
I believe it did somewhere, but this is the Grand Duchess, a large kind of airship that looks a bit too much like a just regular ocean boat. Big old mast. Actually, it's like I think a trimast basically. So kind of wide sails. Yeah, and it has been coming into not quite port, but to kind of round around topsoil, kind of overlooking kind of where some of the ships are docking and the crowds below, and the buildings and people with all of those wonderful coin purses stuffed full of gold.
It's true. This place is ripe for opportunity, and you convinced your crew to come here for such an opportunity. As the whoever is the helmsman at the time turns the airship to get it heading towards a nice little foggy patch of shore to land on. Two of your crew members, Warnag Onehorn, a minotaur, and Parksy Silvertongue, little goblin, approach. And Warnag, well then, we got to where you wanted us to go, so what's this big plan of yours?
And we see a elf who looks a little bit strange for this world of Maru. She has many things about her look fairly normal. This kind of like wavy copper hair, a smattering of freckles, an exorbitant amount of gold jewelry kind of hanging in her ears, one of which has been severed off about halfway through, as though by long ago by the slice of a blade. She's wearing a vest of kind of gold embroidered with like kind of floral like leaf patterns.
Floral brocade.
Yeah, floral brocade. That's the word I was looking for.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. And she kind of rests a hand on the basket hilt of her sword. Well, yes, I do see that. Look, I understand. We are all very, how should I say, uncertain about this. But I am telling you, if we can get in there, I have a lead. I understand
lead?
well, perhaps it is not a fantastic lead. Look, it was from a drunk man who I stabbed 3 times, but still, a lead, a wonderful, perfect lead. It will work this time.
Yeah, well, you feel like sharing that lead with the rest of us?
Tell us secrets.
The goblin chimes in.
Now look, if you... I'm sorry. First of all, and she looks around, and it is just the 3 of them, like her first mate, her quartermaster here, and not
Mhm.
like the general crew. Okay.
There's 1 or 2 people walking top deck, but no one else is in this conversation.
Okay. First of all, I understand that there have been some uncertainties, some problems with my pursuit of these sites, these fallen shipwrecks. But I have heard from a very old man, now dead, that there is perhaps one not too far from here in the Icelands, yes?
Not what? So you have a lead here for a ship that's somewhere else?
More to get accurate directions.
And who do you expect to get the directions from?
Do you need a map?
Well, I have heard I have heard from this man that his crew passed over a wreckage, and of course, besides the brief problem of his death, but his crew originated from topsoil. So, if we can locate others here, then I'll beat them up, bring them on the ship. It will be no problem.
If you could at least show me which of these towns you're talking about.
As they gesture towards the side of the ship, towards the buildings that are passing below.
I think at this point, so I assume that there is more of like a financial district somewhere in the city below.
Mm-hmm.
I would kind of curve a finger and point towards a bank down there.
Okay.
Now, as you well know, these voyages that go out over the ice, sometimes they buy these insurance policies that will pay out if they do not return. There should be a magnificent record of their travels held within that bank.
Ah, I see. That's a pretty clever idea. Well, I think me and the crew can take care of that.
Wonderful. Now all we need to do is go and we'll talk our way in or commit a heist on a bank in the middle of the largest festival
Yeah.
that occurs.
About that, when I say that me and the crew will take care of it, I mean me and my crew are going to take care of it.
Excuse me. I
Fucking-
look to Parksy, like
Parksy kind of quietly like sidesteps and hides half of their body behind Warnag.
Here was he vote.
We haven't been profitable in a long time, and every time you take us to one of these places, several of us come out dead or injured
an occupational hazard.
that we've never had before you decided to captain us.
Oh yes, no one before my crew has ever had a mortality rate in pilot.
Your crew, yes. Your crew happened to unanimously vote that this is our parting time.
Unanimously. And I look at Parksy again, like, how dare you?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, well, I've got a lot of things to do and a couple of banks to visit. So this is where you get off.
And if you would like to make a dexterity saving throw, as this minotaur just grabs you by the belt and turns and heaves.
Well, I am a rogue.
Exactly. You should be doing well.
That's
Rest in
a
pieces.
that's a 23.
Nice. So they grab you and hoist. As you go to fly off, you manage to hold on to the railing for a moment and flip around, plant your feet onto the side of the airship and hold. You look straight up at your former first mate, now mutineer, Warnag, One Horn, and another alleged traitor. And Warnag begins to pull their sidearm and point it towards you. What do you do?
I'm voting for you swan dive backwards, like kicking off the edge of the ship and like flicking them off at the same time. That's my vote. But
Hmm. If I was at all strong, I would try and break it down with me, but that's not happening. Not with a +0 strength. Yeah. So usually this goes a little more smoothly, I'd say. And she does. She looks at them and like her eyes kind of narrow. And part of what I mentioned earlier about her looking a little strange for an elf, something about her eyes has become otherworldly, and there's this kind of black sclera, black pupils, and like a ring of like gold iris. And her eyes narrow and kind of flare for a moment. I wish you all the luck in stealing everything of mine. Please, watch your foot, so it is worth more when I steal it back. And I push off and try to activate my winged boots. But usually I'm like standing or jumping upward and not pushing like horizontally. And so I think I get this like burst of speed coming away from the side of the airship, and there's just this moment of oh shit, and then just like this turning like whoosh 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 as I try to right myself and just whoosh, in the water below.
And the splashing in the water below is this elf what fall from the heavens, August. It doesn't look like they're doing so hot right now.
You all right? You're gonna have to speak up. I can't see if you're nodding.
So what is the situation? Is this like a bridge that
I'll say you kind of like skipping rocked
Okay.
a little bit down this stream and like fell into the marshy water near this bridge. It's a small bridge. It's like just 3 steps worth of crossing over the water.
okay.
I'm on one side, now I'm on the other.
She stands up and kind of brushes herself off, which doesn't really make sense because she's just kind of wet. It's really not doing anything. And straightens up her soaking clothes, kind of like pats at the bit of gear that she has with her. She wasn't expecting to go over the edge right now. Yes, I'm quite fine. Everything is perfect, and
This something you do often?
No.
Okay. You sure you're all right?
Yes. Certainly. What could possibly be wrong? It's not as though, I have to, begin to predict the actions of those that I trusted on account of them taking all of the information that I was following, and now they are going to go do it, and I need to be 3 steps ahead of them.
Well, all
But
right.
right now they are flying away, so I think I'm about 1 step behind.
Yeah, maybe more than one. Anyway, I'll leave you here, elf lady that fell from the sky.
Did I take any damage? I guess I had a fly speed, so
Yeah, this was just an awkward landing.
okay.
If you're hurt, I can probably help you a little, but
No. I softened my blow a little. I mean, it was a 150-foot fall. If I had actually hit the ground, I would be very dead.
yeah,
Very.
well, you're alive, so
Everything is looking up.
yeah. Are you from around here?
From topsoil? No.
Yeah.
Not from this little rinky dinky tinky town.
Yeah, Me neither. I've never been here before. Having a little bit of trouble finding my way around.
I mean, I assume that would be a problem when your eyes are all covered with a cloth.
Yeah, trust me, you want me to keep the cloth on.
I understand. I know you cannot see it, but I have a bit of an eye patch of my own over one eye.
Well, that's good. At least between the two of us, we've got one eye. We're doing great already.
Tell
No.
me,
My name's Gus.
old man. Oh, wait, Gus. I wasn't sure what to call you. I was going to call you old man, but I'm certain far older than you.
Yeah, old man works too. Whatever you want to call me.
Old Gus.
Sure. What's your name?
You can call me Bill.
Cool. Well, there's a bunch of noise in that direction, and that's where I'm walking. Where are you heading?
Oh, I guess that direction as well.
Mind if I share your eye?
uh, as long as you don't mind when I have to sneak away to commit a heist on a bank.
I won't even notice.
Perfect.
As the two of you follow the sound of a strange kind of hissing steam whistle. One of the two trains that wrap around the twilight belt of this world is arriving. As the train pulls up, it is a hovering Magitech train. Aesthetically, it is a gas lamp train that does not have wheels, is not running on a track, but there are pillars that float just above the sea level all the way into the horizon on both sides of this island, and gliding just above all of these pylons is this train. And it turns and sweeps, and as it slows down, there is a bit of rippling in the water as the air is pressed against it. And coming to a stop, the cars of this train are reminiscent of conch shells in terms of visibility. And the side of all of these shells crack open, and inside are living areas and resting areas and the like. Dozens of people start pouring out. Aarakocra, an elf, dwarf, and gnome, goblins and orcs, all of them very excited to be here. Some of them for the first time, some of them not, but they're all ready to trade knowledge and see what cool things people have been working on in the last year. One of the people stepping off of the train, at least Bill would be able to see due to August's limited visibility, is a elf of kind of a composed stature, I would say. What does Callum look like as they dismount the train?
All right. So Kellum stands at about 6 foot, with pointed elven ears kind of peeking out over some close-cut hair. His right ear is pierced 3 times with 3 different colored pearls, one red, one black, and one white. He's dressed in this leather duster with chin-high shoulder flaps that kind of cover the side of his neck. The leather duster is covering a close-fitting mixture of casual clothes from shoulder down to fingers, is clad in a mixture of leather and cloth, with leather straps connecting to his right arm, in which there is this thin wand made out of black wood with a spiraled opal inlay from tip to base that can be seen whenever he kind of adjusts his coat. His eyes are this very vibrant sky blue, and his face, he looks a little unkept. It looks like he hasn't shaved in a few days, and there is a set of 3 scratches across the side of his face from cheek to cheek, covering the bridge of his nose. And his eyes seem to be accentuated with a little bit of dark kohl that he's used to embellish as a makeshift eyeliner as he kind of steps off, kind of adjusts his coat and looks around. There's a hint of nervousness to it. Like, there's a level of uncomfortableness, which I guess looking at the wand makes sense. That most wizards probably are uncomfortable in social situations.
Out of curiosity, as someone whose face does grace wanted posters every now and then, would this be a face I would recognize from a board that would have my face?
Are you disguised in any way?
Kind of. I would have burnt a spell slot with Disguise Self to kind of change the bridge of the nose, change enough about my features that it's not an exact match.
I'm not looking that hard, so any disguise elf is gonna put me off from a distance
so
away.
Probably like 15 minutes before we embarked out, I would have cast this. With the same clothing I have on, but just a bit of a accentuated features so that it isn't an exact match, knowing that I am wanted and on the run. There's a little tiny squirrel on my shoulder that I probably should have mentioned.
Aww.
That is repeatedly like trying to grab the pearls from his ear and like getting flicked like every minute or so to like stop.
You came here following a rumor. It's possible that the wreck of a ship recently was brought back to the surface, and they might be embellishing how old the wreck is and where it might have been, but from the rumors, it sounds like it might have been your ship that they dredged up, which means this might be the perfect opportunity to get some of your lost possessions. Where in the city it would be, you're not sure, but you do know they're trying to sell it as antiques.
And do I know any contacts that typically would attend this festival that I have had dealings with in the past?
You'd probably have a few connections. Luckily, the news is still somewhat recent. Besides like home countries, the news is just starting to spread, so you haven't lost a lot of ties yet. So there's a few like tavern folk and shopkeeps and someone in the financial district that you would be able to tap into.
Right. So I will kind of go, Fizzle, stop that. Fizzle. I've had enough of this. I'll turn you into a newt next time. I promise you that. You know better. We've talked about this. Don't give me that look. Don't give me that look, Fizzle. You know. I'm not going to have this discussion with you every single time we get anywhere with a crowd that you can. Oh, look at me! I'm Fizzle. Look at me. Yeah, it's a terrible habit of yours. You should know better. And well, looking around, I believe our next journey would be going to the financial district. That seems like a smart choice. I'm sure that they are working here. And are you even listening?
they seem to be distracted by some sort of smell that has got their attention.
So this man does actually look as crazy as he sounds. He's just talking to a little squirrel on his shoulder.
I was wondering what was going on. It's a squirrel. He's a squirrel.
But he has a wand, perhaps some sort of familiar, but I don't think that is any real excuse to be cruel to a small creature.
Some small creatures are cruel.
Taken.
Make a perception check, Caleb.
Sure.
Callum.
Let's see here. That is, well, a 4 plus, what's my perception? Plus 3, 7.
Okay. So, Bill and Gus, it doesn't look like this person has noticed the two of you, but the squirrel has, the odor coming from Gus and the river are overwhelming the little rodent as they're trying to like cover their face.
I kind of reach up and twirl a little bit at my one of my golden earrings, like one that kind of hangs lower in this little like starburst pattern, just kind of like trying to entice this squirrel that seems interested in stealing earrings.
Make a performance check to see if you can distract them while they're trying to hide their face from the pungent smells.
Yeah. That is going to be a 14.
Okay. So Callum, what's the name of your squirrel?
Fizzle.
Fizzle? Okay. So Fizzle jumps off your shoulder and begins scooting through the crowd towards a pair of individuals, one of which looks a bit elderly, worn, possibly blind because they are covering their eyes, hunched over on a stick. The other one is soaking wet, but wearing a rather nice outfit. And Fizzle keeps like circling as if they're trying to find a way past the scent border to get to them, but every once in a while would kind of puff their tail up and step backwards and kind of just sniff at the ground to refresh grass smells. It looks like your buddy's got a mark.
There is a exasperated sigh. Like, this is not the first time. And I will head off towards Fizzle, probably making my way through the crowd, trying to avoid touching anyone or getting too close to people as they're kind of exiting the train. Fizzle, where are you going? Don't bother people. Don't. I know you can hear me. And I will chase after him.
And we're just like walking, right? I don't think we're like stopped
there's
there.
kind of just like a surf or a sea of people moving, yeah. And you see the squirrel had caught on to you, but keeps like, I don't know. Am I willing to push through this barrier?
Okay. So I would like to do two things. One, I would like to entice the squirrel to go a little bit past me by kind of taking out a little gold coin, since it seemed interested in the sparkly gold, and just kind of toss one gold onto the ground sort of behind me to see if it'll like dart for it. And then
Would one gold be enough, Kellum, for
well, we are descended from nobility, but I don't know how much of that nobility reached Fizzle. So I'll leave that up to you on whether Fizzle would be enticed with one gold, or if Fizzle is the lavish familiar that was spoiled.
I would say it would probably go more of the domesticated cat route, and something shiny and fast moving has got their attention.
That's what I was thinking.
So
Okay,
they dart
so-
towards the coin.
And then because I see Kellum is kind of like not really paying much attention to us and is just kind of chasing off after his familiar, I'm sending the familiar a little behind me, and I want to shoulder Kellum as I pass him and try and take his coin purse.
I probably wouldn't be getting within like 10 feet distance.
I
As
could
Callum is
get-
trying to avoid people being near him.
May not
I
be the
will
most
take
subtle
up-
shoulder check, but
Yeah.
Oh, it would not be subtle.
Okay.
I mean, I'll just kind of like spin around, so I'm kind of walking backwards as I'm talking with Gus, so it doesn't look like I know where I'm walking. Just kind of like, boop.
Okay, yeah. I like to imagine like I'm bent over trying to get Fizzle.
Whoop.
Oh,
Make a sleight of hand check against their passive.
Oh, okay. Rogues man, 15?
my passive's 13.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I will kind of take this little coin first as you're diving after Fizzle, and as I spin back around, just kind of point over. And so the banks are over that way, but there should be a large amount of stalls, scientists and food. The food here, fantastic. Keep your wits about you, and I will toss the little coin purse over to Gus.
You hear the sound of something being yeeted at you.
Yeah, surprisingly, Gus actually catches the coin purse, almost like he was aware of where it was in the space around him. Tosses it back and goes, opens the bag, smells it. Yeah, yes. That was hardly worth the risk. What?
You're right. I expected there to be more, but
It'll buy us some drinks.
yes, certainly. And I make no mention of the pouch that I have. It's way more than two.
He takes the 2 gold coins out and he flicks one over towards it. Bites onto the one he had to make sure it's real. He's real excited about that 1 coin. He's
Nice.
She catches it. It seems like you could use it more than he could.
As the two of you head in, or continue heading in with your new profits, and Kellum, you stand back up with your companion. Your purse is missing.
Doesn't matter. We don't need to go where we're going anyways. We're probably going to die. So, I suppose. Well, we've made more on less. Though there, Fizzle, there are a lot of problems that can be solved with gold. Does Fizzle still have the 1 gold? The coin that was tossed?
Oh yeah, they were successful at least.
Okay.
Like they're like chewing on the corner of it.
Well, we already recouped 50% of our losses, Fizzle. It's not that bad, really. Thank you. And I will take out the red earring. Try not to lose it. I do need that, but you can hold it. I know you like to hold things. I get it. Oh, that smell. Do I see them walking that way?
Yeah. That smell, as it wafted over you, you kind of follow it and do see the blind elder and the soaking pirate walking in the distance, and are you holding on to the purse, Gus, or did you like toss it aside or anything?
He took the coins out and tossed the purse on the ground.
So as you see them, the elder throws your purse over their shoulder and flicks a coin over to the elf that they are walking with and head into town.
Well, Mother always said that cities are dangerous if you don't keep your bearings. I suppose that teaches me. And I will wave a hand and cast Mage Hand to go grab my purse. So like this ethereal hand just kind of appears in the air and will go out there. And as I start walking towards the financial district, I'm going to keep prestidigitating the smell of roses every time I smell Gus.
All right. So as the three of you enter into the city, as the sun's finally, or the sun, as the moons finally reflect enough light to signify that it is about time for the exciting parts of the festival to begin, we are going to go on a short break.
All right, don't miss us too much. We'll see. Let's see, what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
We'll keep them waiting until they love us less than they do now. See you next year, everybody. I'm kidding. We'll see you soon. Hello, and we're back. I hope you didn't miss us too much. I cried the entire time. Look at these tears. We've missed you, but, I leave it back, and he is capable hands.
All right, so a few hours have passed, and the festival is finally starting to pick up a bit. Moiren and Elric had exchanged some goods. Did we figure out prices on that?
Yes. So Weirin would say it is 30 gold for today only. Usually, alchemical goods of this quality are only purchasable at 50 gold or higher, but today we're offering it for a very special price so that folks will be encouraged to take it and use it and show it off and hopefully want to bring it to the wider market.
Well, if it does everything you say, it's clearly worth it. I can't pass up a sale, and he hands you the 30 gold.
Excellent.
As he does so, though,
Makes
he is looking about, and he's like, being that this is such a wondrous invention of yours, you wouldn't happen to need any sort of demonstrator. I have a longsword that needs cleaning, and he like gestures to himself. He looks rather dusty and worn out. Perhaps I could stick around. You seem to be very knowledgeable and good company.
Oh, thank you. Of course, you're more than welcome to stay at the stall, at least for now. My mentor won't be here till a bit later, but don't mind him. He's not that bad. But yeah, sure, you can stay.
Thank
It'll
you.
be lovely.
I'll just.
Where have you come in from?
I came from a long expedition at sea.
Really? Like from where? I've really only ever lived here, so I've been really excited to hear stories from everyone coming in. It's always the best part.
Well, originally I'm from Ancia, Belmore, Ancia, that continent. This is the first time I've been to topsoil, at least in it. I've passed by it and through it every once in a while, but it's a wondrous city.
I guess you've never been below to Ceasefire then, have you?
No, I haven't had the opportunity. I kind of need air, so I feel like that'd be hard.
Currency, you're going to love this Suture Festival then, because we finally figured out there's been some people who are going to be coming here and they're going to show off these oh gosh, what did they call them? They're little bubbles. They've created like living building bubbles that we can submerge beneath the sea to bring you life, landwalkers, down there with us, so that you can enjoy a hosting from us.
This truly is a city of wonders.
I'm really excited to see it, but that's going to be one of the scheduled things later this evening. So we've got quite a bit of time before that.
Well, I'm with you. Murin, you said, yes?
Yes.
I'm Elric.
It's nice to meet you, Elric.
And then he like kind of shuffles to the side just because he doesn't want to be in front of your display. And he just kind of waits for you to call him out to be a demonstrator if need be.
Exactly. And she starts her calling and hawking, I guess, to folks passing by, and they just strike up, I guess, this relationship here. They're working citizens.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely not a criminal.
Nope, try not to look like one anyways.
All right, so then you go on presenting your product to a few more curious folks, and you show through the assistance of Elric how effective it is at becoming hydrophobic upon application. And after a few hours had passed, pardon me, coming down the street is a wagon packed full of equipment and some other miscellaneous stuff that you're not sure what that is or who it belongs to. and pulled by a large, like that Siberian bear hunting dog sized snail. And sitting on top of it is your mentor, Royzik Fizzlebang, and kind of walking alongside them as the cargo is being pulled in the wagon is someone you don't recognize, but someone that Professor Fizzlebang seems to be familiar with. And Callum, as agreed via the message you had sent before arriving, you do a little catching up with Professor Fizzlebang from the days that they used to be a teacher over in Larenthia. And as promised, they carry your equipment and cart up the hill towards the city. They did say that you could borrow Lord Blackwood, the snail, for the day to pull the cart. They just need to unload their equipment here at their stall.
Of course.
Oh, now I know that you're interested in stuff like this, but is there something in particular you're looking for?
Well, now that you mention it, I did hear about, I did hear about something that they were discussing about bringing in very secret, very interesting, something brand new, a ship. I mean, you know that I'm very, very, very interested in ships.
Aye, that's true. Well, as far as I know, this one isn't as special as they make it out to seem. I looked at it earlier, and it looks like it's only about the 10, 20-year-old ship.
Oh, that, well, 20 years.
Aye.
And
It's some of the things that they're selling on it, though, is they got a bit of the helm left, some of the hull, for artifacts. Though, again, it looks like a standard issue ship. Though there's a few things inside the ship that they are selling as well at an auction.
and a few things they're selling.
Say again.
A few things they're selling at the auctions. Where, just in case the fancy hits me, where would that be again?
Well, the auction happens on the other side of Carnival Row.
Okay. The other side of Carnival, perfect. And what can you tell me about the helm? Was there battle damage, scars? What happened to the ship?
I don't know much about that type of engineering or anything, but I say it suffered some amount of explosive damage from the outside and possibly, I don't know, some elemental magic.
Well, you don't see that often. I mean, there aren't any wars going on. It's not like ships are getting blasted out of the sky.
Not as far as I'm aware of.
Yes, but is that stall yours? The one over...
This one up here is mine with my new mentor, this little one. They wave at you from atop, Lord Blackwood.
Hello.
Hello there. Come on in. Oh, you've got to meet him. Elric, this is my mentor, Royzik Fizzlebang. That's Lord Blackwood, as she points very imperiously to the same. Hello, Lord
One
Blackwood.
eye, like...
And I don't know this one. Who's this?
It's an old friend of mine from university. I used to tutor them at one point.
Oh, it's lovely to meet you. And she'd offer out her hand and would shake it. Her hands are a little clammy. She's clearly a Triton from Seaspire. She has the seaweed hair, etc.
As one would expect. Kellen is wearing a gloved hand, but he will take her hand. Kellen, I'm pleased. Did you say Elric?
Yes. And
Oh,
she
oh,
points to her beautiful assistant, who is now in shining armor because she has done a few demonstrations, usually doing like a piece at a time. But at this point, I think they've probably gotten almost his entire front of his armor has been at least treated with the solvent. So they've since had to move to like the back of his armor for future demonstrations.
Yeah, makes sense.
So Kellum's not good at pretending. And there is like a clear distressed look like at Elric of like recognition going,
Yeah, all right.
oh yeah, of course, sorry. No, I wrote the conch train, and the conch train was a little bumpy. Not used to going in and out of the water. But tell me about the mechanical properties of this solvent. I've heard so much, but you've put so much work into it. I'm sure I don't want to take away from your day, displaying and even, showing off your goods. Sorry, no, that's a bad way to put it. Showing off the solvents to, display. I'm just going to stop talking. I'm so sorry. Continue.
She giggles, of course, good-naturedly, and sort of just waves him off as she then goes behind the stall to then start her little demonstration and goes into like her full little diatribe for Caleb and for Roisnick, who's seeing it for the first time today. She has refined over the multiple times this morning, so hopefully it is a good demonstration. And then, of course, she uses her nice new assistant, who gratefully offers, the back of his armor as she shows off the various properties of this solvent and its interactions with metal and its applications and uses in adventuring, in technology, in factory work, and in just normal day-to-day life.
It's a fantabulous display, and your mentor seems to be pretty pleased.
Well, that's fantastic. Look, I got things set up now. If you want to take a break and go explore the place, shop around.
She looks like she can't even contain herself. She's like, oh, thank you. And she is like booking it. She's like immediately, and she's even like tugging Elric. Come on, we've got to see the few things. And she's like going to like pull him, and then she'll even pull Caleb. Be like, come on, we've got to see them. And she's gonna pull them along the row to follow her as she looks at all the fun displays and starts telling them about them all because she's really excited. Now she's two new friends to show off the science fair too.
As we're being tugged off, I'll just go. So there is a ship.
Oh yes. I know the one. They're going to be displaying the real fancy stuff about it later. But then there's that auction I think he was telling me about.
Oh yes, I'm very interested in going to the auction.
Oh, I know where that is. We can pop over there after we finish this roll. They're not going to be starting for some hours though yet. I don't think.
Well, I don't know a lot about auctions, but I think getting there before people show up is usually the best, so you get the best seats.
Oh, I certainly will get there in plenty of time. And so they sort of like meander. So it doesn't take like long at these displays, but she's clearly like directing them along a sort of path where they can both see things and then also get to where he wants to go with plenty of time for this auction viewing.
Of course.
Meanwhile, she is also conversing with them, sharing about her life, asking them about theirs, whatever they actually happen to want to share. She is a effusive, bubbly, sort of cheerful person that you get across through this interaction. Keen, but clearly just a sweet girl. She's just trying to have a good time.
As this is happening, I'm curious, is Kellum's disguise enough to throw Elric off? Because you did at least say your first name.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I would say Elric has spent enough time in the military with Callum that the voice hasn't changed. The name hadn't changed, Even with the disguise, I think he would recognize Callum.
I think then he's just, yeah.
If you would prefer.
What were you saying, Elric?
Oh, I was just going to say then, and if Elric could surmise that this very familiar looking elf has the ability to disguise himself magically. After seeing the wanted poster like not too long ago, would probably just be staring daggers at him, being like, something's going on, and it's no coincidence that Kellum and Elric are here and being sought after. But he won't say anything. He's trying to keep his head low and rely on the bubbly personality of Mirren taking them through the streets that, I think she would know a lot better, thus helping him get lost as they weave and bob from stall to stall.
Awesome. So yeah, there's a lot of different displays going on right now. There are some people showcasing like alternative fuel sources. There are new magical crystals that have different like home usage. There are snacks and like baked goods. There are like self-playing instruments that are on sale. There are also plenty of little carnival game type things set up around if people wanted to play with stuff. Is there anything particularly interesting that y'all would want to check out, or are you just burning time until auction time?
I think I'd be a mixture of burning time. If we get close to where the auction is occurring, I would take my earring back from Fizzle, who no doubt I'd probably introduced to Mirren at some point.
And show off Pearl, her homunculus, which is a little cauldron.
And I would have Fizzle look around the auction and see if Fizzle can sneak into getting eyes on the goods that will be sold.
Okay, have Fizzle give me a investigation check.
All right. Let me pull up that stats.
All right. While you look those stats up, Gus and Bill, you both have 1 gold each to spend. Or at least you've earned 1 gold.
Definitely only the one. Just kind of like keep my other full pouch tucked away tightly so it's not jangling.
What's a gold piece get you these days?
Oh, couple tankards of ale.
Sold.
Let's start you there then. And I will clap him on the shoulder and bring him towards, I guess, the dusty inn that Elric ran away from earlier.
All right.
Low tide.
So the two of you go to share a drink at this tavern. And while you're there, two of the employees are a bit distracted with an argument. It's loud enough that you don't even need to pretend to listen in on it, as one of them is trying to convince the other that they definitely saw this one, and like gesture at the wanted board. And the other person just doesn't want to believe them, and they're like, I swear it's the exact, like, take this, grab like a pink marker and just do like this. It's the same person, I promise you. Like that's a lot of money just walking around the city. And there's like a shout from the kitchen, and the both of them are like, oh, fuck, and get back to work and head back into the kitchen. The two gnomes are packing up their little board game that they were playing a little bit ago.
Okay. So they say that they saw that one. My eyes are darting towards the poster that they said that they've seen.
Okay. So this isn't an unfamiliar board to you. This is full of wanted criminals, extrication or extradite needs, missing persons, this and that. At least the poster in particular that they were gesturing at is a poster to a human, right, Elric? Okay, a human named Elric Freyason, who is wanted for treason and conspiracy at a bounty price, dead or alive, of 28,000 gold.
And those workers went off, like rushing towards the kitchen, right?
All the employees now are in the kitchen, and the two gnomes are leaving the tavern with their toys.
Well, guess I find myself suddenly in need of quite a big payday if I'm to acquire another airship. So, what do you say? And I reach over and I will just kind of tug the bottom of the paper and just pull it down, like from the tack.
Not sure what you just ripped off the wall, but I am fresh out of coin and very thirsty.
Let's fix this drinking situation first, and then perhaps we go and find this terrible treasonous criminal and make a lot of gold.
You gonna turn him in? Be kinder to kill him.
Oh, oof. I'm not very big on these institutions myself, but if I were to acquire the gold and then perhaps leave a way for him to escape, then I've done no wrong. It's just another form of stealing from corrupt people.
That I can get behind. That I can do.
I'd also like to clock any other, like, hefty gold sums on the board. Anything that brings me closer to getting a new airship.
All right, there's a few. So, you've got Elric Freyason. There is a bounty for yourself, of course, and you are
I'm just gonna tug that down.
Wanted for piracy, smuggling, breaking and entering, destruction of property. Bounty is 1,200 gold.
Only 200.
And
This is an
then
insult.
This is an insult.
your two, your first mate and your minion, quartermaster, both have bounties up on the board as well. Warnag One Horn has an 800 gold bounty. Silver Tongue Parksy has a bounty of 2,200.
Wow,
There is
She is
you out.
very good at what she does.
You want to make life hard on them, you can scribble a 0 in after that 800.
Would you say this?
Well,
Okay,
he
fair
wouldn't because he
enough.
can't.
Yeah,
he
you
can't see the
can't
numbers.
You hear her kind of muttering, 800, these bastards.
There is also one more bounty of note. There's a few, like 30 gold here and there stuff. But at this point, everyone else is pushing the thousands. There's
Okay.
one for a name that you kind of recognize, Kellum Brightstar. And there's a portrait up there that gives you like a weird, I swear I just saw this person vibe. If you want to give me an insight check.
Yeah, I'll give that a shot. That's a 17 on the die for a 21.
Okay. You've seen people use disguise magic before.
I
That
literally have
fucker
it
is
myself.
in town. You now have at least, well, technically like 5 bounties of people that are in town, but one of them is you.
And not as much as I used to go for. I've really been slacking these last few years. All right, I will tear down Kellum's and kind of fold those 3 together into like a little like kind of like quarter it and then eighth it and then just kind of slip it down into like the waistband of my pants. And then I will give an eye to Parksies and just be like, not messing with yours. That can stay how it is. You're doing great, honey. But I will move Warnags over to like the center stage where Kellum and Elrix were and just like tack it back up there and look at it. I think it would occur to her to be like, fuck this guy in particular, and bring out a little ink pen.
Little forgery gonna go here.
Yeah, little forgery.
All right. Do you happen to have a forgery kit on you?
No, I'm just gonna write a number.
Can you roll a d20 for me?
Yeah. What stat would I add to this?
Nothing.
Nothing. Wonderful.
Just a d20.
15 on the die. Not as bad as it could have been.
All right. So you apply graffiti or improv edits to this. Okay.
Just like squint at the font and like I'm like trying to replicate that 0.
How many zeros did you edit in?
See, but I don't want it to really get to his head if it's like 80,000.
Yeah, you don't want it higher than yours, but you want it high enough where people are chasing after it.
Well, it said, okay, so it said 800, right? But I do want them to come after this fucker. So yeah, I'll just add one more 0.
All right, 8,000 gold bounty.
All right, so now he is the most expensive catch on the board.
Fantastic.
Right?
Oh yeah, by a large margin.
Okay. Then I will just and I don't think this is something that Gus can see, but my tattoos that I have that kind of that are kind of covering my sleeves kind of start shifting and shimmering as like a magic kind of swirls across it and then up to my skin and up across my face as I cast Disguise Self on myself because these people work here and have seen my portrait. And then I'm gonna go and just kind of flare my hair and it goes gold instead of copper and make my eyes look a lot more normal. Just kind of scrunch my nose up a little bit, but just change enough that it's not 100% the same person. And then head up to the bar and get those tankards of ale that I promised Gus.
All right. So one of the employees comes around the corner with the ale and presents it to the two of you. The two arguing employees kind of walk past. And they're like, look, I will show you the poster. And also, I'm pretty sure I saw someone with black eyes. I don't remember where, but who fucks with our bounty board?
I didn't see anything.
I love that. I love that for the blind man.
Oh yeah, with the Disguise Self, I think I pull off my eye patch and just make it look like I have two normalized. Just an illusion over that.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But yes, you two have drinks.
Well, it's been an interesting day for me.
Where are you planning on going after all this?
Well, they'll probably kick me out of here at some point. And after that, I'll have to find somewhere else to sit.
Still got 2 silver to your name?
Yeah, they gave me some items too when I left. They said they were my personal possessions, but I don't know what they are. They gave me these 2 vials and I got a pipe. I went in with armor and a sword, and this is what they sent me out with.
there's a small piece of paper rolled up in the head of the pipe.
Wow, I just kind of noticed something while I was handling that pipe, but it seems like there's some trash in there or something. I don't know.
Would you like me to give that a look?
Yeah, sure.
And I will pick up the piece of paper.
I'm double checking
Yep,
here.
unwad
Let me
it.
Look at August West's character sheet here. Neat. All right. So there are a series of bumps and lines kind of left in wax over top of the paper itself. Can Bill read Celestial?
So, funny thing, I can read all writing.
Mm-hmm. What's causing that defeat?
An Eldritch Invocation.
Ah,
Nice.
devil's sight.
All right. So the celestial words on the paper seem to say, "I've given you 1 day's head start. It's the best I can do. They're gonna look for you. A friend."
Okay. So I can read all writing, and I'm not sure that I really understand why I can do this, or if I really can differentiate what all these different writing systems are. So I'm curious,
It
could I tell
Might be
that
like
this
a
is
weird
celestial?
second nature to you.
Yeah.
And it's not something you've always had. Just suddenly, you're looking down, you're like, this is definitely a language I didn't study, but it definitely says I gave you a day head start. Why the fuck do I know that?
Mm-hmm. So this is a very peculiar little wax dots and lines, but I'm pretty sure it's a warning.
A warning. That's from who?
Yeah,
It's a note. Did they sign it?
Oh, no signature. But you don't happen to have a friend in a high place? Someone looking out for you?
I don't have any friends.
Well, that is very, very sad. And we've just shared some ale. So I'm going to choose at this moment to not take personal offense. Hospitality these days. Anyway, it says you should run because they're going to come after you.
They're gonna come after me. They want to put me back. Are you good at getting away from people?
My dear friend, I've made a living at it.
I have nothing to offer, but I need your help.
I have not as much to offer as I had earlier this morning, but perhaps we can rectify that.
I'm not going back. I'll do
Then
anything.
it's,
I'll do anything I can to make that not happen.
Then it seems that perhaps it is time to acquire a bounty and an airship. And then we can run.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
So we kind of slide out of there after a little bit, pass by some like kind of food stalls, eat some shish kebabs or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Shish kebabs, meat pies, I don't know.
Street meat.
All right.
Street meat.
So the two of you, can you give me your choice of perception or investigation checks to look for these bounties? Back to Callum, what did the squirrel get on their little recon mission?
I reflavored the weasel as a squirrel because I like variation. For familiars, but they all have the same stats for intelligence, so that doesn't change anything.
Cool.
It does have keen hearing and smell, and Kellum would have told Fizzle that they're looking for his spellbook or his staff.
Okay.
So that is a 8, unless it was made with advantage.
Yes, because keen sense.
-2 would be with the advantage, so we'll go with the 8.
All right.
It seems
So, and then Bill and Gus, what about your detective bounty hunter skills?
Yeah, Gus had about a successful perception check as you'd expect from a blind guy. He rolled a 7.
All right. All right.
I have a very good perception, and I just did not roll well. So that is a 12.
Okay. So you do not find Elric or Kellum themselves, but Bill, you do spot the squirrel that was riding on Totally Not Kellum's shoulder earlier, kind of skirting and sliding in between people's legs. It looks like it is returning from a mission. It doesn't have anything in its little paws or anything, but it looks like it's eager to go return to their master.
Okay. How far away from me is it?
Not too far away, probably just 6 or 7 people shoulder to shoulder away.
I glance over my shoulder at Gus. Don't go too far. I'll be right back. And I turn and take a step towards the crowd, and this waft of just cold mist whooshes away from me as I step through the crowd and disappear. And I am going to Starlight Step. So 30 feet teleportation over to the squirrel, and I want to reach down and grab it up.
All right. Make a your choice of dexterity or athletics or acrobatics, blah, blah, blah. And then Graham, if you could, for the squirrel, make a dexterity saving throw. Reverse that.
Ooh.
21.
So the squirrel panics and kind of scratching at your hand a little bit.
No, little friend, look. And I kind of reach up as it's scratching my one hand. I reach up and jingle my earring a little bit.
Where is a coin?
I persuaded her.
Sure, give me a persuasion check to stop this familiar from panicking.
13.
All right. Graham, you want to make an attack roll on Bill's hand with the squirrel?
Against the squirrel napping.
Just as it goes to bite onto Bill's hand.
Oh, got you. Let's see here. That is a +5 to hit. Okay. That's a 10.
No, that doesn't hit.
Bites into the leather on your glove and is trying to trying to do the ferret tumble, but it's in your hand.
No, it's okay. And I pull out another gold and I shove it into its little biting mouth. Not hard, but just here, chew this instead.
So this is a creature magically loyal to you, Kellum. So you can tell me how hard it's gonna fight. to not be held by some stranger.
All right, so I'm gonna roll a d20 because that's to decide, has Fizzle died before? Like,
Did you have Fizzle in service?
Yeah,
or is Fizzle new?
I think Fizzle was something I've had all the way since college.
Yeah, does Fizzle
They
have a
definitely died
fear
in the
and a
boat.
knowledge of their own mortality?
He definitely died when the ship exploded.
Yeah.
But this is let's see, we'll say highs. Fizzle is complacent because we've already established Fizzle's main goal is greed over loyalty. And we'll say lows is Fizzle will fight to the death for my honor.
Okay.
And that's an 18. So Fizzle is easily bought. Because I don't think Fizzle is like, this is a dire straight scenario. I think Fizzle is like, he just told me to look.
So,
Really, it's not
like
critical,
biting
and
and
she
looking
got
up
those
at
pretty
the
earrings.
earring.
Yeah.
They're like,
Kind of move to like just kind of like gently kind of place him on my shoulder, but like have a hand there to kind of like keep him sort of in place so he's not running off. And then I like just like pet a little bit and scritch a little bit as I look and try and see what he was doing here, or where if I can see his master around.
okay. Give me a perception check with advantage because they are still like looking and acting as if they wanted to leave. They're not struggling to leave anymore, but they're doing that cat thing where they're shifting their weight to let you know they're getting ready to jump off you kind of deal.
So the first die is a 7 and the second is a nat 20 for a 27.
Nice. All right. So following the eyes of this squirrel, you see heading around past the carnival stalls towards a sign on this cloth banner over top, like a repurposed stable, says the Suture Auction House. And there are 3 people clustered together. I would like to assume that Murin is like holding both of them and dragging them in.
Yeah, so
you easily
you
can
see-
visually pin one of them.
Yeah, you see this Triton girl with really bright hair. That's probably what attracts you to this, as she's tugging 2 definitely taller men with her. And there's also like a floating little pearlescent cauldron with snacks in it. That's just like floating around
Where's Mike?
beside her. As she's tugging them into this auction house. And of course, they are your targets.
And how like cute is she? Like what are we talking here?
All right.
Scale it
Well,
for us.
Exactly. Well, her charisma is 16.
I'm listening.
She's a young woman. She looks to be a sort of bubbly personality, fairly graceful looking. She's not very stocky, but she does have like a heavier legs than she does a top section. You definitely spot that she is missing like considerable amounts of her limbs. There is an entire missing leg that is just bronze. It's really pretty. It's got some pretty scroll work on it. It looks really well designed. And she's also missing an entire lower half of her arm, all on the same side of the body. But she's got this long seaweed-like hair. She seems to have this bubbly personality as she's tugging these guys along, and a lyrical, sort of lilting musical voice that you recognize as the accent of all of the natives in this particular place.
I lean towards Fizzle, who I don't know the name of. I'm like, I bet there's a story behind that one, don't you think? And I scritch him on his head.
And reach towards the earring.
At this point, Gus is caught up with you, and he kind of shambles up next to you. And what's with the rat?
It's a squirrel. There's a bunch of bush on its tail. It's not a let's and I like
I don't-
kind of like
I don't.
I'm
like rats.
covering Fizzle's ears. Let's much smarter.
I don't like rats.
To each their own. Unless we are talking metaphorically, and those rats I prefer to stab. Yes. Alright, so, the reasons that I stepped over here, found our little friend, is because he was traveling with that one earlier today. And I, like, pull out in a flourish the bounty poster and, like, hold it to my side, like, not looking at Gus, like, momentarily forgetting he just cannot read it.
I'll take your word for it.
Perfect. I snap it shut and slide it back down.
So what's
I don't know if I've, like, clocked Elric yet, but my eyes were on Kellum.
what's the plan?
I suppose that depends. Do you think that we should cut them is not on this deal?
I won't turn them in if we're not getting them out after.
Well, of course, but do they need to know that we are going to do that and then expect part of the reward?
That I can compromise on.
Perfect. So, we need to separate them from that gorgeous specimen over there. And this big brute with the hood over him, very suspicious. I'm sure he's no problem. We'll just get the wizard and knock him out.
You see August kind of test the strength of his staff he's been leaning on. We could probably do that.
Get him, we separate him, we knock him on the head a few times, turn him into the guards, then we have enough gold to purchase an airship and we are out of here. Well, we will need to hire a few crew, but aside that, it's flawless.
I don't see a problem with it.
Alright, I give Fizzle a little scritchy scratch. Is there little buddy? She's having like a moment of like moral conscience here where she's trying to decide, as she just realized she's had this conversation in front of a wizard's familiar, whether she should snap its neck, but she doesn't want to.
It also brings up the question of how long did I expect Fizzle back, because I feel like Kellum would
Also,
have seen through his
I would
eyes
say by the
at some
time that
point.
you have successfully found the auction house yourselves without Fizzle's help, that they have now officially overstayed their separation point.
Okay.
How close do we have to be for you to hear through your familiars?
100 feet, so
Oh.
invisible range.
Is it always on?
No, I go blind, so I would
Okay,
have,
okay,
well,
okay.
I'm being pulled by Mirren, so I don't need to look.
So you're like cut in to hear us talking
Yeah,
about
it's just like
knocking you on the head and kidnapping you and selling you out to the authorities.
Fucking Fizzle is in on it, man. Don't trust that squirrel.
you can dismiss them permanently. But yeah, I mean, if he's extended the time period where I would have reasonably expected Fizzle, and I mean after like 160 years of knowing Fizzle, like I think at this point I have a relatively good grasp on how long people get distracted by something for.
Exactly. And of course you have to check and see, did he get distracted by the cheese again? Was it an earring? Is he currently like in jail for squirrel crimes? We don't know.
Last season we had horse crimes. This time, squirrel crimes.
He got caught breaking into a bird feeder.
Yeah, so I think at some point I would have looked, and I don't know. You can tell me at what point I would have heard anything. Media?
Okay. It's been a while since you said names, but you would be in the conversation long enough to know that these two are talking about bonking someone on the head for a bounty.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. In which case, I will say out loud to Miran and to Elric. Just if you could, talking along. I'm trying to find your mouth. Get distracted. I don't.
Oh, yes, of course. She seems to be apparently quite used to this. And
Elric, it's a pleasure to meet you, firstly. But secondly, if you could make sure that I don't trip over anything, please don't let me out of your sight. I've already been robbed today. I would prefer
you
not.
poor thing.
Which makes it what I apologize. I also still can't see you, so I will drop out of Fizzle for a moment. I believe, once I've gotten a closer look at the ship here, that some of my belongings may have been illegally offered for auction against my will. Namely, my staff and my spellbook. But also, I think there is something on the ship still, if it is the ship I am guessing, that is far more valuable than probably this entire city, and we should probably get it out of here.
And this was in, I guess, Bird's hearing range. And she's just
yeah.
looking at him. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, so she's taking this all in. It's a lot of information. All right, I'm just actually going to show you a place to sit down, and I'm going to ask about the manifest for the auction.
Wonderful.
Just...
And then I will look to Elric. I don't know if Elric was in on the fact that there was hidden cargo on the ship. But I will look at him.
It's up to you two, I guess.
High or low?
Low.
That's a 3. So I think you would know that there were hidden compartments on the ship for a variety of things. Once Miran has kind of moved.
Yeah, so I, find some seats, probably at the back, and I just sort of, set him down, because I don't know if he can see again. I'm gonna just come back here, but you'll just stay here. And she's gonna scuttle off to find an auction overseer.
All right.
And
for
question
visual
them.
sake, this is a very large stable that has been repurposed into an auction house. There's a few large objects with cloths over top them, and a pile of smaller objects in boxes and glass cases lined up. And there is a Goliath and a wood elf who are letting people in through the tent flap and letting everyone know to take a seat. It's dimly lit. It's a little darker in here than outside. And they say once LaRue gets ready, they will come up and start the auction. If there's any questions you have, please ask me before we get into beginning.
Excellent. Excuse me.
Hello.
I did have a question. I've come to some knowledge that there might be something on the auction block that shouldn't be. Who should I talk to about that?
The wood elf looks over at the Goliath, and they both kind of
Yeah, listen, I don't know who to direct you to, but I'm pretty sure everything here is an item for sale, not doesn't
Are you
belong
sure?
to nobody yet.
So, a long story, but could you tell me if there's a spellbook and a staff that might be part of the items being auctioned off from this here ship?
Bayro, you got the list, right?
Yes. Let me look at it. You said you are looking for a book. We've got
Spell book, yes.
2 dozen listed in the written category. Is this a novel?
A spell book.
Spell
Wizard's
book.
spell book. If that narrows it down any.
Let me see. Yes, there is a spell book that is for sale. It's going to go on during the third auction round. There's a boat with a bunch of smaller items. There's a stick and some other things, old weaponry, that kind of stuff. Most of it doesn't work, but it's for like the collection value.
Is there a staff among them as well? A magic staff, wizard staff.
Well, I don't know whether or not any of this is magic.
Right,
That's
of course.
The auctioneer themselves, LaRue, will know that, but there is a list that says assorted weapons. There are 13 things there.
Could you point out the auctioneer? Are they just not here yet?
No, they tend to make an entrance, so you'll know they got here when they do.
I see. Well, thank you very much, boys. You've been a real pleasure. And I'll just go back to my seat now. Thank you.
Yep.
She's not gonna go straight back to her seat, so she sees all this things laying out. She's gonna try and subtly investigate and see if she can see where some of that stuff might be amongst the stuff.
Okay. So out of curiosity, on the outside of this tent, Bill and Gust, are you heading to the auction house? Are you still discussing things?
I think we're following the group. I think
we're like casing them, sort of.
like staying low key, but definitely keeping them within eye shot.
Okay.
This is honestly far too public to really go in and just. So.
If we stay with them, they'll end up alone eventually. Patience.
The two of you, whoever has the higher stat, I suppose, can be the one who rolls with advantage from help. But make a deception check to versus Kellum's insight, because you are currently warging, right? Okay.
What's your deception?
11. I'm sorry, +1. Passive is 11. Read my sheet wrong.
Do you want me to do the?
I'm not.
Like, damn, you liar!
Do you want me to do the advantage then? I'm kind of like a skill monkey.
Yeah, be the skill monkey.
Okay, so roll that and hold on to it, and then once Kellum and Elric are done with their conversation, we'll compare those roll notes.
I don't need to mention that we're in a lot of danger here.
You're telling me? Your bounty is up to 30,000.
Oh, well, most I've ever been worth in my life.
I wouldn't suppose you know why you have a bounty on your head.
Well, if I had to guess, it would be involved with the cargo we were carrying.
What was the cargo we were carrying, Captain?
I'm not quite sure. I was under strict orders not to touch it. It was warded. I was simply told to carry and transport.
For this conversation's knowledge, at least for Elric, how you survived was via one of these crates, and it definitely helped you out.
Well, Captain, I can say for sure that I'm happy to see you alive. However, I don't quite like being considered a criminal. They're looking for me on the account of treason. And I don't remember doing a treasonous thing.
Nor I. I would never order any of us to do anything of the sort. We followed orders, as we were given, and we were betrayed. Shot
By
down out of
whom?
the sky. The criminals! No, there's something more going on here. I'm uncertain who or what or why. But right now my main goal is to get my staff and my spellbook, which I believe are located here, and then work on clearing our names.
I believe you then. You never steered me wrong before, Captain. I don't expect you to now.
I'm glad to see that I still have friends in this neck of the woods. How did you survive the explosion?
Things were going wrong, and my own mentor decided that it would be best if I found a way to escape. So he ordered me into a crate. And being the good soldier that I am, I do not disobey orders.
I ordered the evacuation of the ship. I don't know how many of us made it out. I know I barely did. The trek here was... He'll, like, motion to the scars across his face. Difficult.
Indeed, and Elric touches his scar.
I should also mention, keep your eye out for a smelly blind man and a red-haired elf with gold hoop earrings. They robbed me earlier, and I believe they have this. Let me check. And then I will warp back into Thistle.
All right. So then your insight versus their deception. Tell us your insight, and then you can let us know if they...
My passive insight is a 13. Would you like me to roll?
Oh, thank God! I rolled a 14 and I was so
But that was my
certain.
passive. I don't know if you want me to roll.
Yeah, roll, because they're having conversations still about, taking someone out, but you haven't
That's
fully
an 11.
sussed... Yeah, all right. Well, it's really unfortunate to whoever they're about to take out.
Yeah.
And you can confirm that they're in the tent with you.
I rolled 2 9s.
My rolls have not been good today.
An interesting dice.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. So then your cover is not blown yet, Bill and Gust, as you come in. And then lastly, Mirin, you were doing an investigation for me. You
I
wanted to
sure
try and
was.
see if you could find out which one of these blankets held Kellum's stuff.
Yep. So that I rolled.
Kellum's stuff or the
six-
ship? Which...
Kellum's stuff. Like
Kellum's
that's
stuff,
what
okay.
she's more like concerned about, because that's like, you stole someone's stuff and you're putting it out for auction. That's pretty not cool, man. Like, and it's also something she could pretty discernibly tell is like not part of like a ship's goods.
Mhm.
It's much easier to pick out from like a group of stuff, like what's the spellbook and the staff and what is not spellbook and staff.
Okay.
So she has no idea what she's looking for in terms of the ship. It could be any of the weird shit that they pulled off the ship. What he's
Mhm.
talking about. And she's like, I don't know enough about that, but I know what a spellbook and a staff look like. So she's looking for those. And I rolled a 16 with a +5. So it's 21 investigation.
Okay. So as you are walking around and perusing the items, you do see that nearby the stage is a bunch of items individually wrapped. Some of them are pretty obviously some types of hammers and swords. There is one cylinder, or mostly cylindrical. I don't know if there's a warp in your staff or not, but there is a staff-like thing. And then there is a specially wrapped book next to a pile of other books that could possibly be the spell book or just a really, really fancy novel.
Could be any of those things. All right. But I have located them. I have verified that they exist. And they certainly look like they could be the things that we are looking for. Honestly, her sleight of hand's not all that bad. I don't know if she is. No, she's not the type, I think, to try and steal just yet. So she's going to come back from this recon mission to Kellum and Elric and take her seat, anticipating that the auctioneer will be here soon. And since there was talk of like rounds of bidding, sort of gonna make a plan that she's gonna try and catch the auctioneer between rounds to see if she can convince them not to like put those things actually in the round. Potentially by bringing up if those were stolen from someone and shouldn't actually be here.
And it works out because Kellum earlier today was like, I was robbed.
Right. So as everyone is in this place and settling in and making their schemes, various schemes going on, all of the candles temporarily snuff out for just the briefest of seconds before being replaced with purple and blue magical flames as the room kind of lights up, and with a smoky appears a goblin covered in fancy robes and jewelry, and like it looks like they just like hit the lottery at a fucking thrift shop, and they are like,
good day, hello, and salutations to you all. I am Luru, and I am here on topsoil to serve you. We have quite an arrangement of things to sell, and I know you are eager to get started, so let's start big and work our way down, shall we? All right. What do we have first on the list? It looks like we have this lovely ancient wagon located in the mines underneath New Cragopolis, very recently, in fact.
and they unveil this, old, decrepit wagon, and the auction begins. People start barking out numbers for various items. Most of it are very not interesting unless you're actively coming here to collect for like cool tchotchkes. And we go through at least one round of auctioning, people succeeding and losing. While there's a bunch of hooping and hollering, is anything happening with Team Bill and Gust?
Gus has moved in closer. He's moved in like behind them a couple rows, but within 10 or 15 feet or so.
Okay.
So that he can have a little bit of perception on the group and can get an idea what's going on. But he's using his kind of natural disguise of looking non-threatening to look non-threatening, trying not to draw any attention to himself while doing so.
Okay.
Does he still smell?
I don't know where the smell thing came from, but sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in prison. I don't think he's gotten his bath. I mean, the one who got a bath today was the lady
Does it
who
reach
fell from the
15 or
sky.
30 feet?
Yeah, between the prison neglect and the just visual descriptor of the character, it didn't sound like they were treated well.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely isn't he doesn't smell like roses. I'll go there.
Probably for a reason.
Out of curiosity, how long would you say it's been since we were in that tavern and I cast Disguise Self?
Probably about half an hour, 45 minutes.
Okay,
At the
so
end,
I
before
don't
the third round, after the second round would be an hour.
Okay, so I don't look like the elf that Kellum described.
Correct.
Still.
I mean, yeah. I look like regular Kellum. My spell gave away.
Whatever, it's
And,
dark and purple
during
in here.
during that first round, Weirin had like come back to like talk to Kellum about like, so there is potentially your spellbook and a staff part of the auction that are going up in the third round. I'm gonna try and talk to the auctioneer and see if we can get them pulled. I don't know about the other thing. Sorry. And she just sort of like scurries back after that to like get closer to the stage to see if she can like pounce on the goblin between rounds.
I will You
Yes,
must say
Captain.
your name. And
Of course.
I cannot assure that we get back in one piece with my spellbook and without my staff. You and I both know that reconnaissance is in my purview. I'm counting on you. And
Let's see what I can do, Captain.
I am going to cast a spell. Invisibility. I believe I can cast on another person, correct?
You can do that
Yes.
without your spell book?
I had it already prepped.
Okay.
This man cannot memorize any new spells. But...
See, Kellum had 2 spell books. Kellum had the spell book of spells he was making himself, and his spell book that was like regular spells.
Okay. Out of curiosity, we're not that far away. We're like 20 feet away. Can I clock this conversation they just had where this wizard says he doesn't have his spellbook and staff?
Sure, give me a perception check. Not super difficult.
23.
Okay.
There is
yeah.
an active auction going on with a lot of people shouting
Yes,
and
true.
conversing.
So you tell me what I get with a 23, because just what I get from that quieter conversation while all of this is happening.
They're like the trio are definitely interested in buying a spell book today. Not sure whether or not it belongs to any of the 3 of them.
Okay, so I don't catch any of him saying that he's not as useful without these things that he doesn't have.
You heard the Genasi's conversation, and then when they got low voiced and talked to each other, that got faded out.
Okay.
You know, at least whatever they're looking for is in the 3rd round.
And probably when you look away, Elric will be invisible because I cast invisibility on him.
Cast or give me a sleight of hand check to see if you garner anyone's attention by doing a somatic and verbal spell.
Sure.
Shazam! In the middle of an auction.
Sleight of hand, that's Dex, that's +2. 18 +2 for a dirty 20.
All right, you timed it well, like right as LaRue was like, and so you cast the spell and grant Elric invisibility.
I guess Elric will begin to sneak off, being invisible.
As round 2 begins, Kellum is sitting alone right now. Bill and Gust, as Murin went closer up front to hopefully negotiate with LaRue, and wherever the other person was, they scooted off.
Okay. Gosh, I feel so bad. So Kellum is completely alone right now?
It looks
Completely?
like it, yeah. They're like sitting next to like one of the poles in the stable,
Yeah.
still
Completely
low lit.
alone in a crowd of people.
They're in one of the back rows, so that's where like the alone vibe gets.
Okay. I give a little scritch to what is it? What's his name?
Frizzles. Frisbee?
Fizzle.
Frizzles? Fizzle.
Fizzle. I give
Fizzle.
a little scritch to Fizzle and say, "Hey, Betty, why don't you get going for now?" And I will take him and give him a little like gentle toss to the next row forward. He's a squirrel; they can jump.
Okay.
I'm not afraid it'll hurt
Just-
him. I'm not like eating him.
You give them
It's
that
just
like cat toss where you like just encourage them to use their own damn feet.
Yeah.
Can I get a perception check from you? As there's a weird cool breeze around your head.
$13 plus 7, 30, 20.
How many earrings did you have?
Motherfucker.
I remember there were
I-
hoop earrings, and then on your art, there's a larger, intricate-looking one.
Yeah, that one I would notice if he
Mhm.
took.
Your hoop
'Cause
earrings
it's
are
heavy. Oh, the little hoop one.
gone.
That little rat bastard.
I'm going
Told you
to
not to
find
trust
him,
a rat.
and next time I am going to kill him. That's what I get for having a bleeding heart. All right.
So Callum, your familiar finally shows up. Their ears are like weighed down by oversized little earrings they've got pinched into their head, and they like climb up and sit on your shoulder.
Oh, well, it's so nice to see you again, Fizz. I can only assume that they're back at me, aren't they? You don't have to answer. That was rhetorical. I already knew. I could have summoned you back at any point. And so I'll wait for like a small lull in the conversation, and without turning around, I'll just go, I know you're back there, and I know what you're planning, but let me make a counteroffer before you act rationally. There is something here on the ship worth far more than anything on a wanted poster in this town. After all, I was the captain of the ship.
You're a captain?
Aye. I'm a captain who was framed for treason. Same with my crew.
Can you get a ship?
Well, my ship got blasted by 5 other ships. But
Tragic. I will kind of have slid over, like down the couple seats over, and just kind of lean forward, like kind of so my face is like uncomfortably by his shoulder and face region. And just kind of tilt my head, and like you feel like you should be looking over and seeing me look at you, but I've just got an eye patch right there. No, Callum Brightstar, this is a name I have heard before. Before you were a treasonous little boy.
I fail to see how following orders results in treason when you're betrayed by everyone involved.
A little soldier boy, encountering his first mutiny, his first betrayal.
My crew didn't mutiny.
Perhaps. What were you then, the fall guy?
So it would appear. After all, don't people with secrets love to make other people fall for them? And pay the price? Is that not how nobles work? How...
I wouldn't
Have
know.
I recognized Bill from earlier at this point, like with the high patch?
I think when I lean forward, I'm dropping the illusion.
Okay.
Sort of.
Okay.
And just kind of like a flourish.
Yeah. Or even a pirate would know about that, wouldn't they?
Tilt my head. This skull you say you have? The problem I see with that is that acquiring it, even if we were to sneak around, find it, abscond with it, where do you plan on fencing this, Mr. Brightstar?
The spire. My family is nobility.
So you don't have a plan?
I've got a wagon and a snail. What do you have?
Look, okay, that's a sore subject right now. Perhaps I don't want to talk about it. Maybe I have a lot, maybe I don't. You don't know.
I'll prestidigitate some rose smells from August. Well,
Look, I'm telling you, I don't see why all of this is mutually exclusive. Perhaps we abscond with this item of tremendous value. We offer some wonderful bounties to the local officials, certain that you are not thrown behind bars. I'm no monster. Acquire an airship and bring these goods to somewhere where we can sell them for quite a bit.
Do you think that there are a lot of airships for sale here? Especially airships able to be acquired quickly and sailed, what, in under 48 hours? Now, I don't want to make an assumption, but you seem to be lacking a crew, lacking capital, lacking available resources.
A temporary setback.
I mean, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not your captain. Just know that if you are intending on bonking me, that I do have enough smells to incinerate the lot of you.
If you move fast enough to cast them.
Oh, the second one is up.
All right. We will be taking a quick break before beginning round 3, where we get to the shiny trinkets found in the depths below. It's a 5-minute break as everyone kind of stretches and some people leave with their winnings. The numbers have thinned out a little bit. I'm curious, during this round/conversation, did Elric stay around, or what did you do while invisible?
Elric, while invisible, did do a few things. First and foremost, he left a little something for Kellum underneath his seat. And I think Kellum would know Elric long enough to know, or assume anyways, what that thing might be. As Elric does not like to leave the captain, or at least his captain at this point, alone without any defense. Then he made his way, I think, towards the items, or towards sort of stage, looking for the cargo, his staff, and his spellbook, to maybe nab them before they could be auctioned off.
Either we have thrown media in for a loop, or his
He's really good at
I
staying
think-
still.
Yeah, I think they just haven't blinked, so I think there's a freezing happening.
Yeah.
I broke him. Sorry, guys, I broke them.
So sorry.
While we're taking that break, I just want to point out that while you were invisible, Gus could see you the whole time.
Oh, I assume.
As long as you were within 10 feet of him.
All right. Well, we will be right back. We're going to go to a quick break, get the gremlins out of the way, and we'll be back shortly.
after asking you a question, Kari?
I think you asked Elric what they had done, but before you asked Kari.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
Good to
Looks
go
like we're back. All right. So then my question to Kari before I became a popsicle was, did Murin tell them where they saw the things, or just that they saw the things?
Just that they saw the things. I think she might have gestured vaguely in the direction, but I don't think she actually like pointed them out, because she was more like I know where they are. I'm gonna try. Like, I saw them. I know that they're there, and I'm gonna try and convince them not to put them up. Basically.
Okay. Then,
but I think as she was explaining, she like gestured vaguely in their direction. There was no definite. They're over here. Second row from the left. There was not any of that.
All right, Elric, can you give me a perception check to spot these goods?
Gosh, it's being so low today. That's a 10.
10. Okay. So, luckily, it had been pointed out where the small goods pile was, and quite a lot of things are getting taken out. There are a lot of the larger things are gone now. There's 2 large things left and all the small stuff. So it is easier for you to spot the fact that there's a pile of wrapped weapons, and there's a pile of books with 1 wrapped book in the pile.
I think it's specifically, especially if you've seen the book and the staff before, maybe the shape of it or the size of it, that's what he'd try to key in on as best as he can.
Okay, so you wanted to try and nab it while this was all going on?
Well, everyone, I think, was distracted by the auction, and then if it takes that long, maybe wait till the break where there's a lull when people are moving off and being distracted with other conversations.
Okay, we can wait for the lull. So as things start to switch into break mode, I know Murin had mentioned wanting to try and talk to LaRue.
That is correct.
Right, they're sitting on the auctioneer stand. Their feet don't quite touch the ground, so they're just kind of kicking, and they're like flipping through like little card stocks.
Yes. Hi. Excuse me. Just wanted to talk with you quickly.
Hello.
You're the master auctioneer, yes?
That is me. What can I do for you in this brief moment between my job?
So I'm so sorry, but I think there's some stolen goods that might have gotten on the auction block accidentally. You see, my friend that I came here with, he was saying he was robbed earlier today, and he's missing his spellbook and his staff, and he was able to point them out to me quite clearly, and we think they might have gotten in with your staff.
Well, I can run the inventory again real quick, but everything that was brought in has been here for a few days. So if your friend lost their stuff today and they ended up in my goods, I will definitely get them back to you.
I don't exactly know when he was robbed. I just learned about it today. But it did seem pretty qualifying, at least to see the goods. If we could, quickly pause and at least let him identify them. We'd be willing to pay, of course, but I know that you wouldn't want to be having stolen goods among your stock here.
Well, I am on a schedule, so I can't put the auction on a hold to see whether or not it is stolen. However, if you do see it when it comes up, you're more than welcome to purchase it. I can look real fast, but I will not pause.
Please, if you would.
What does the book look like?
Has Caleb given her a description of his book and staff?
If you had voiced that you were going to be going back to negotiate, yes,
yeah.
he would.
Yes.
He would have described his spell book as being a black leather-bound book, that there is a family emblem in silver on the front.
And so she relays this.
The staff is like a black ebon staff.
exactly. They appear to look matching. She would describe the family crest that would be on the book.
That's very interesting. So you're saying that the owner of this book is here right now looking for it?
Aye.
Well, thank you for letting me know. I will get the book to them as soon as possible.
Can I insight check this?
Go for it.
I don't know if she likes that tone. She's like, I don't know, this has been a weird day. Nope, apparently, she's like, okay, yeah, no, that seems perfectly reasonable. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Well then, everyone, we are about to begin round 3, the shiniest of shinies.
Exactly, so she scurries back and essentially gives Caleb the good news, or would give Caleb the good news, which she perceives to be good news. But yes, it is his stuff among the stuff.
You would see two people like right next to Caleb. I'm like,
Just fucking like eye patched nose.
Yeah, and she's
Oh,
like,
I'm like sitting behind Kellum, like lean forward, like
Okay.
over.
oh yeah, and so Marion's like, hello there. Yes, so it is your things. They do have them. They're in the round 3. They said they're going to come talk to you and give them back to you. So
oh, that's wonderful.
all's well.
I'm surprised they didn't check.
Elric,
Well, they
as
just
the round calms down and Mirren talks to LaRue, as they turn around and announce to the crowd that things are about to begin and gets things into a big shuffle, you do see them turn to the Goliath and whisper something. Would you like to give me a perception check? Since you are close to the stage getting ready to do some thievery.
Well, hot dog. I hope it's better. 19.
Contact the authorities. I think we have a bright star on the premises.
Yep. How many you need?
Oh, I assume we want to call them all.
Yep. You got it.
And the Goliath casually leaves.
Nothing to see here.
God damn it.
But everyone is distracted. If you were to try and lift this book, this would be the perfect time.
Oh, yes. He is going to do the best thing, or he's going to do his best attempt at something that he's never done before, or at least for his captain. How would you like me to?
I would like you to give me a sleight of hand check. You are invisible and people are distracted, so go with advantage.
$20.
Nice.
Thank goodness.
For the briefest of moments, if anyone had just like a sharpshooter eye, they'd see a book kind of levitate for just a brief moment before fading out of existence into nothing as you put it underneath your cloak, because everything you were currently wearing at the time of the spell is invisible as well. And you have stolen Kellum's book.
Does Elric think he could get the staff as well? Probably not under his cloak, but
You could try.
maybe moved and hidden to some degree somewhere else.
Yeah, this one would be a flat sleight of hand because it is more bulky.
Mhm.
But you have like a window if you really want to shoot for the stars.
Oh, that's a 7.
7.
Yep.
All right. As you sneak over and make this stick levitate above the table, you hear an uncomfortable guttural sound come from the half-elf standing nearby.
Boss? Excuse me, I think we have a foul player in the midst. Gods!
Elric's gonna book it in any direction, just making the staff look like it's floating and running away.
So we can all see this, right? There's
There
just
is
a floating staff.
and guards have been
Alarms.
called.
Preferably,
Oddly faster than expected. It sounds like guards are like approaching already outside. And as y'all figure out what you want to do next, that is where we will end tonight's session. Yeah, crime.
Yes,
Yay, crime!
Yay,
We've got two nice beans and then crime beans.
After getting to know all your characters, I'm really glad I made a morally ambiguous paladin and not a paladin.
It's gonna be really important. I mean, honestly,
I
at this
just
point,
feel-
Marion might be the moral backbone of this.
Yeah, I feel bad for
entire
you as a
group.
little cinnamon roll just trying to sell a product, and you've got like 4 felons now hanging out with
In our
you.
defense, they were
And she's like, but they aren't felons. It's like they've been misapprehended, they've been stolen from, they've been
I like to call
I think
it
I'm the only
mess.
one here who like was intentionally committing crimes.
exactly like the
You knew
only
what you
one here
were about.
intentionally committing a crime was that one.
Like this was a lifestyle choice. Then again, Elric is right now intentionally committing a crime, so he's joining
Yes,
me
also
in this rank.
exactly,
But-
also a
but
lifestyle
is it a
choice.
crime if they're illegally acquired?
He's
I'm
pulling
just
the
stealing the
Robin
stuff
Hood.
I
He's,
stole.
Yeah.
he's
Exactly.
being it good. He's within his alive
He's
one.
reclaiming stuff.
Yeah.
Precisely. Technically he's not stealing, he is reclaiming stolen goods. So, you know,
It's fair.
details.
Yeah, semantics, really.
That is-
But you know, this is Media. This is your first time signing off on the channel, so for those first-time viewers, here's how we typically do it. Media, do you want to put on some sassy music?
Shit, do I have sassy music ready?
It could be happening.
Oh, sass.
In retrospect,
This is
I
the
should've-
sassiest thing I can
should've queued it up. All right, so thank
Sassy.
you everyone for joining us first and foremost. For those of you new followers and first-time commenters, thank you for joining the family. Here at Graham Crackers, we're all about making memories with friends, whether through TTRPGs, RPGs, or MMORPGs. It's all about spending time with people you love and making lifetime memories that will stick with you forever. And that's what we're all about. Tonight we had the honor and the delight of playing D&D for you in our new campaign, Duality Slide, which will be back next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. If that's not enough D&D for you, every Tuesday we do have 2 campaigns that alternate weeks. Next week is Shards of Anarian, where I'm your wonderful DM and I get to torture my friends until they love me and feel they can't play D&D without me. But outside of that, you can find me here when I feel like streaming. Sometimes we do MMOs on Mondays. Sometimes I play Minecraft, and people say, Graham, why do you do this to yourself? And I say, I don't know. But there are 3 things I'd love to know from each of my wonderful friends and players. 1, who are they? 2, where can we find them on the social webs, if at all? And 3, usually I make up a question to ask them. But, Media, what question should we ask?
What do you expect the bigger problem to be at this carnival?
That's a good one. And then, lastly, if they're working on any cool projects, where can we find these projects? Because friends should support friends. I've done mine, so I will hand it off. I'm just gonna point fingers and say names.
It works.
We'll go from the right of me in Zoom. So Kari, then Pharaoh, then Media, then Riley, then Joe.
So it's me. Very well. Hello, everyone. It's me, Kari. You might recognize me from other times on the channel, and if you don't, hello, welcome. It is lovely to see you here. I'm excited to get to play Weirin for all of you and do a voice, which is fun. I've definitely messed it up a few times, but I think I'm getting there. You cannot actually find me, generally speaking, on the interwebs anywhere unless you happen to be playing the same MMO I'm playing, which currently at times is Guild Wars 2. You can see my player name potentially down there in the chat. If you see me online, feel free to send me a tell. I will be happy and willing and able to help with lots of questions. If you want to come fishing on my little fishing boat with me, you're more than welcome to do so. That's mostly what I do these days. But yeah, hit me up there if you want to. Some fun parallel play. But besides that, you can find me here every Friday. You can also find me guest starring from this point on in the other Tuesday night game, not Shards of Anarian, but Anarian's Rest, where I will be popping in and out as the Tiefling Karis. That's it for me.
And what do you think the bigger threat is?
The bigger threat is here. Like what threats are we talking about? Because to Muirin, I think the big threat.
So right
She
now,
isn't
the
a
threat
threat.
is the police, and the
police, yeah.
shenanigans that you are all involved in. But what's the bigger threat?
The bigger threat she feels is absolutely like Kellum was talking about this spooky thing that was in the ship that's worth more than her entire continent. She thinks that's probably pretty important, and not enough people have like really been focusing on that. But that's where her head's at. But right now, her most immediate threat is, oh my goodness, there are the cops coming. What do I do? My new friends, what do I do?
Oh no.
Exactly. She's just, oh no.
Hey guys, I am Pharaoh. I am so excited to keep going with this Friday game. You can find me at Ferocious on Twitter. Links in the chat. You can also find me here this coming Tuesday on Shards of Anarion, where I play Sinra Starmain, a Leanin Warlock Paladin. With not that accent. I don't know why that just came out. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I smite things and growl. Otherwise, I think those are the places you find me. So what I think is the bigger problem, I'm gonna have to say our own folly. I think we are our biggest problem.
Legit. All right.
Hello, everyone. I am Media Flare. I am a voice actor and streamer. I also do some local stuff as well in the theater if you're interested. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter and Discord pretty much anywhere as Media Flare. I am the voice of Russell Gainsley in the Star Citizen journalism community and also host quite a lot of roleplay events in Star Citizen. If you are looking into that, feel free to find me. Otherwise, the only project I have live right now is this one here on Fridays. Otherwise, if you're looking for someone to run or play at your table, let me know. DMs are open.
And I don't need to tell you anything about the bigger threat.
I forgot the order already. Am I next?
You are now.
Hey.
We all know the real threat is LaRue.
So I'm Riley. I am a Graham Crackers channel exclusive. This is the only place on the internet you will ever find me. I don't have any projects to promote, but I think the biggest threat, that the problem with going after two other people is they steal the two answers you were going to give. I'm really still concerned with that rat or squirrel, if you want to call it that. But
Sure.
The biggest threat, it's got to be us. I'm going to have to agree with that. We're probably going to mess up more than anybody else is going to mess up us. So if anyone's going to mess us up, it's going to be us.
In the squirrel's defense, they have successfully done the most crimes so far.
Yeah, he's probably rolled better than all of us so far.
We should have sent the squirrel. I don't know what I was thinking.
I know, right? Like, what if we just, once our characters go to jail, we all say that we can't canonically all had familiars, and it's just crime animals. The game.
Alternatively, once we start working as a group, maybe we send the rogue to do the stealth thing.
We weren't a united front.
No, we were not.
We had a lot of knives in the air, and we forgot we can't juggle.
Well, for now, tell us about yourself, temporary rogue.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Jeremy, and I had the pleasure of playing with these fine folk yet again as Elric Freyason, the not so good rogue. And this is currently all I'm doing right now. Every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, with Graham Crackers, and I doubt that I have any time to do anything else. And I would have to say aside from the crate, this mysterious crate that Kellum seems to know a bit more about, I would have to say that it is us. The dice against us tonight was not so detrimental. I'm so sorry, guys, that I failed. But hopefully next time I'll do a lot better. And hopefully next time you all join us and enjoy the show.
Ooh, I want to spoiler name the next episode's title, Bounty Hunters and Blackened Skies.
It's gonna be so exciting.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be able to wait.
And I will make it the title next episode. I played Kellum. I don't need to repeat myself. I never got to answer a question because I'm terrifyingly bad at everything. My biggest worry and the biggest threat is the fact that I have Fireball prepared in a crowded area. and the urge not to use it. You know, the wizard's dilemma. But the only other thing I worry about that I think is the biggest threat is how much I'm going to miss all of you until next week. So, you know, thank you again, everyone who came in. We hope to see you again. We do have a Discord. Once we've seen you enough, you'll get a super exclusive invite to the Discord where we hang out. But again, you know, we'll be back soon, so don't fret. But until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay hydrated, and we'll see you soon. I promise it's not forever. So take care of yourself, and we'll see you later. So goodbye for now.